What's up, everybody? Mike here with Trail 7. I got a question for you. Is 2 better than 1? Let me answer that for you. Yes. What we have going on here is Trail 7's plug-and-play dual amplifier setup, and what better to pair this with is some dual subs. So we're going to showcase the Kicker dual amp setup into the Bronco. What this is a 4-channel on the front. This is a great big beefy 1200 watt mono amplifier on the back. And again, like I said, what better to pair that with, which is but 2 power hungry subwoofer options. This is a dual tailgate subwoofer enclosure for the Bronco. This is a Kicker's new dual 12-inch square enclosure. This thing is gnarly. This thing is gnarly. I can't wait to get these installed. Can't wait to show you how easy this is to install. Something else to go over. This bundle is compatible with the Broncos with the B&O kit or the non-B&O kit. Today we're going to install the one with the B&O kit, so this is going to have the pack module. If you have the non-B&O, you're going to have a different module, which we'll show a picture of here. That's the LC5i is what we're using as the line-out converter for the non-B&Os. The installation of this bracket here is all we're going to show you. The full installation is going to be covered in the 2 other videos for the non-B&O and for the B&O. All of that installation process is going to apply. What we're going to show you today is just how to mount this bracket and any differences that having the dual amplifier setup is going to bring to you, which really isn't many differences at all, except for the power is going to be a larger 1/0 cable versus the 4 gauge in the other bundles. The amp bracket here has a power distribution block on the other side here, where this main power wire is going to plug into. Everything else is already connected. The other power leads to the amplifiers, the grounding to and from the amplifiers, all of that's already connected here for you. So we're just going to show you the differences. We're going to put this into the Bronco. We're going to show you a couple of these different sub options of how they sit in there. Before we install this into the Bronco, I'm going to show you a couple of very easy tools that you're going to need to complete this installation right here. And now we're going to go ahead and get this installed in the Bronco. Let's go. All right, the Bronco has been disassembled, as you can see. We're now ready to go ahead and install our amp bracket. So just to put this out there again, this installation will apply for the B&O and or for the non-B&O, depending on what you have. This one here is the B&O, but all we're doing is showing you how to install the bracket and the kit when it has 2 amplifiers and what differences you'll have to complete and attach versus just the single amplifier. So this is going to apply for both B&O and non-B&O. Right now we're going to do it in the B&O. Regardless, they're both going to follow this process here. So in the other bundles, we attach the power harness to the amplifier. Since there's 2 amplifiers here, you have a distribution block, a power distribution block. So from the battery, the power wire, it's going to hit to this distribution block. From the distro block, it's going to run 1 power lead out to each amplifier. This is already going to come directly to you as you see it here. You don't have to worry about doing any of this wiring, just explaining to you the configuration. So what you're going to do on your side is you're now going to land this 1/0 power cable to the distribution block, and you're going to mount the bracket in its location. You're going to ground the ground wire, which is a single ground wire, but it's hitting a ground distribution block here. So you're going to ground this here. You're going to swing the amplifier bracket in. We don't send the amplifier out set up. What we do is we'll post an installation instruction guide on our website, and we have our suggested adjustments. What I would recommend doing is go ahead and setting your amplifier up to those suggested adjustments prior to the install. So when you're here, go ahead and set up all of those gains and crossover points, etc., how we show it. Once it's installed, we'll show you at the end how to make those minor adjustments if you want to increase or decrease or make any adjustments on your side. So go ahead and set up the adjustments how we have them recommended on our page. Let's go ahead and land the power wire now and get the install completed. Let's go ahead and pop this cover off here. What I'd recommend doing is getting some tape, and what you may find is that once you put that large cable on here, it may not seat completely, this cover on here. It may be loose or whatnot, so I just take a piece of tape and I wrap it over top when we're done. I'm just going to feed the power wire into the slot here. Tighten that down. it's nice and tight. Go ahead and put our cover back on. And go ahead and apply a piece of just electrical tape or something's fine. We use Tessa tape in the shop. If you want to throw a piece of tape over the ground distribution block, we find that this cover also can sometimes pop off, so it's not a bad idea to put a piece of tape over that block as well. So next we need to land the subwire. So this is a positive on the left side and negative on the right side. We attach these ferrule connectors. This amplifier here, this kicker amplifier, has very flat terminals. So you may need to just take a pair of pliers and just flatten down the ferrule. That way it should just slide right in. Give it a little tug to make sure they're in there. Now we can go ahead and prep the amplifier. We can go ahead and set the amplifier. So now before you mount it, we're going to remove this ground bolt out here. This is 8mm. Now it's our dual amplifier. This is the 4-channel up front and the mono amplifier in the back. This one here is the CX1200.1. We're going to have a couple of different size options with the kicker amps. The 800, the 1200, there's 1800, so look out to see different size options on the page. Now what I'm going to do first, I want to ground this. That way I can run the power test in a little bit. And you can go ahead and just put this bolt in here. Don't tighten it down though, because you're going to want to come back afterwards. After you turn the system on and listen to everything, you may need to make some adjustments. So I wouldn't put everything down tight. I would just go ahead and put the bolt in here just to secure it into place until you do the power test, and then you can sound test it, etc. Something that's also worth noting is that not all of the Broncos we've seen come with this bolt here. If you have the non-B&O Bronco and you don't have the fake sub there, you may not have this hardware. So what I would do is take a peek behind that panel before you get this far into it and see if you have this bolt. If you don't have the bolt, then you'll need to source the bolt to fit in there, as well as these two nuts that are on the bottom of the bracket. Otherwise, you're going to use the factory nuts and the factory bolts. We're not trying to tighten it down. We're just going to kind of hold it in place for us to run the power wire, run the wiring up to the head unit. Depending on if you have the B&O or non-B&O will determine what this actually looks like. And also want to run the bass knob. Definitely get the bass knob with this bundle here. You're going to route the bass knob. The pack module, this guy here does come with the bass knob. I wouldn't use that for the bass itself. I would use that only for its purpose of adjusting the chime, and any pack adjustments. And one trick on the chime adjustment is you're going to follow the instructions that pack provides in their manual. Typically we don't like to defer anybody over to anybody else's manual. We show you how to do it, but their instructions are really exactly how to do it. So there isn't anything that we can show you or tell you differently than how we do, other than the trick to getting it done easily, which would be to grab a partner to help you out with that. So have somebody help you out, because you have to push the button on the pack module while you hit the accessories on the Bronco, while you adjust the knob to set your chime. So trying to be in those three places at once can be a little challenging. What I recommend doing is grabbing somebody to help you out so they can push the button on the pack module when you're adjusting it. If you don't have the B&O, you won't have this pack module. You have the LC Pro. You don't have to worry about the chimes. They're not directed through here at all. So let's go ahead and get our 1/0 cabling routed. From here on out, you're going to follow the rest of the videos, whether it's the B&O or non-B&O video. I'm going to drop both of those links into the description so you grab whichever one is appropriate for your Bronco. So before you clip over, before you hit the links down below to see how the rest of the installation video for the B&O or non-B&O applies, before you do that, let me show you what's going to happen after you do the power testing and whatnot, and what adjustments you may want to access and why I didn't fasten these two bolts down. So we're going to loosen this here. We're going to swing this amp out. The ground wire is long enough so that way you can swing this out and you have access to all of your adjustments on the back end here. So let's go ahead and show that to you real quick. So you can still leave the amp bracket attached or swung on the first piece there, in the first bracket. You just swing this out. Now here are all of your adjustments. So with your flathead screwdriver, you can make any adjustments, any changes that you want to make on your side in case you don't like the suggested options that we provided to you. Once that's set and done, put that back into its place. You're going to secure this bolt here, tighten this down. Don't over tighten these bolts either. This doesn't need to be all the way down flush. We put a rubber grommet inside the hole here. If you over tighten this, we've seen sometimes where this bracket comes loose or it strips the bolts in here, strips the screws in there, so no need to over tighten these down here. Once you have it tight enough, it's not going anywhere. Go ahead and click the links down in the description to follow the B&O or non-B&O installation so you can see everything else. Again, all of that applies. That's the same. Before you do that though, don't go away. Let us button this up real quick because we're going to show you the final product, everything that when it comes together, what this looks like, and trust me, it's worth it in the end. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, so the dual amp bracket has been installed, and again, if the question comes up, why would you do something like that? More power. What would you need more power for? Something like this, something like this, right? So this is our new release of a dual 10-inch tailgate enclosure for the Bronco. This is Kicker's new release of the dual 12-inch square enclosure, down-firing enclosure. This thing is pretty awesome. I know a lot of people are looking for sub-enclosures that don't take up space. Obviously, this one doesn't take up cargo space. However, when the door closes, it takes up about 6 to 8 inches. This one takes up space, yes. However, I mean, this is a solid box. You can jump on this box, you can pile things on top of this, and you don't have to worry about damaging it at all. That's what it's intended for, piling on top of it. The other great thing about this, just to pitch this real quick, is that you can still access the area underneath there. So you don't lose any of your under storage area, and you can stack things on top of it. Just to show you what these look like, there's the two 12s. So why would you install the dual amp system to get something like this? So I hope you enjoyed that installation video. To pick up your dual amp kit for your Bronco, visit us at www.trail7.com. Until next time, I'll see you out there.